Back to 40 Days and 40 Nights. I'm back. And I am going to do a little bit different. And I mean, this is more a reflection piece on the anime that I've been keeping up, known as Sakamoto Days. It's been a long time since I ever keep up with one due to my life, but yeah, I'm going to go and reflect on that. And the things that one stood out to reflect on is the thing of the suffering and being the receiving end of suffering, marginalization, and being the low-hanging fruit, abuse, all that stuff doesn't always necessarily doesn't necessarily magically baptize the person to be the a human rights loving person necessarily, any more than receiving every success and wealth he wanted doesn't necessarily relieve like other problems. It may relieve the biggest pains that comes with having nothing, and the trauma of having nothing, but then it also reveals other amplify other unresolved traumas and ailments and other things that were not able to be confronted until now either. So like it's a lot of environment and what's in our DNA. Both the environment and DNA influences us so much, and it always has, but the way it works on groups and individuals does not come out with what expected. It follows a rhythm of how works, whether you believe in karma, whether you believe in like dialectical materialism, whether you whatever, or the law of cause and effect, that there is an effect and a response to it, but the cumulative effect doesn't necessarily come out ever of what you expected in whatever form it does. And it doesn't make you virtuous or evil on its own either. Now, it doesn't necessarily mean that person is necessarily inherently born good or evil so much, or rather not, that person's a blank slate. It never is a blank slate, but there isn't something that somehow is like some kind of like whatever. I mean, that's debatable. Like there is debatable. That's been a philosophical challenge of rather are born good or evil for centuries, and that will never be solved, because that doesn't explain that much either. The contrary either. It's even though it's worth debating about, it's not really it. And the reason that's coming is spoiler alert. It's a spoiler alert if you haven't watched the anime series or the rest of the comics or reactions of the comics. Please, you're free to skip this now. Just spoiler alert. The main villain, Slur or Kei Izuki, grew up in a very abusive abusive parents. I mean, he was put in this orphanage that trains him to be some form of assassins, and he is put up with it there, and was pretty much used to be like a decoy spy in this special like trade school that is trained to be spies and operatives and assassins, and was put on this mission with some expelled students to be on that mission, which, with the main characters of Sakamoto, which is like Taro, Nagamo, and then their friend Rion. Only he's basically the mole of it, pressured by him and coerced by him to be a part by his brother, who was an organizational executive for this assassins organization, to spy on them, find some dirt, and as well as find a way to somehow displace the head honcho of the organization somehow, so that he could be in charge. That's his job, even though he opposed this being in this life at all in the first place, even in that moment. But he's to, otherwise his found family is going to be annihilated. So that when was put in a mission to protect the chairman's family and compromised that mission, was discovered to compromise that mission, he disappeared. With Rion trying to go after him, and the truth about what led him to do what he did in the first place, which led to one of the main leaders of that mission in a fucking coma, which is how that happened. And a year, and then it revealed that he killed Rion, basically. Who, if you read the rest, they tried to run away together, away from his brother, helping. But found out, like, the context behind what led him to be here in his first place. And it turns out that Rion, like, learning, tried to help him run away from his brother, and found, get him out of there, get whatever friends he had out of the life. But that didn't do so successful, because they got discovered and found a way to use Kei to get deceived into killing her. Which is what happened, and it led to a spiral of things that led him to become the villain that he is in the story plot. That plot, like, part, what makes this about Kei is Kei/Slur, who spiral started when he got, hit on being assassinated, and that went successfully. The only reason it went successfully is that Taro, who was set to assassinate him, who is the main character of the story, who left the life behind and created a family of his own, went and tried to fight Kei, and because he's a really top fighter, that his fight with him should have killed him immediately, which thought immediately, but it didn't, because but how he shot him, what would have killed him, ended up killing him, because his organs are not in the position, his heart organ or his vital organ are not in the position where they could be vitally hurt, unknown to Taro. So ever since then, he was on this, like, nihilist spree of just basically, I'll make people suffer the way I suffer if I can't get the life that I wanted, and plus the everyday people are no better anyway, and ended up, becoming who he hated, and it not only he become who he hated, even though of the world with this government and this whole idea, this is shady as heck, and but it ended up revealing that he doesn't. I mean, the situation is, on one hand, anything can go. Honestly, I mean, the you know because it discovered that he had a deeply difficult mental health condition that got developed in result of everything he'd been through. But he ended up, ironically, being the oppressor's puppet, even if he opposed everything he'd do subconsciously. I mean, it's pretty tragic in many ways, and what else to say is that kind of villain is, it's kind of that type of villain, even though the antagonist, but yet is just, while I'm not here to like defend that kind of society what did, and burning down is probably the only solution, but he's not even burning down the order. Even he just created where people are like, give rise to just kill each other with impunity. The very thing that he opposed, and it's kind of shows that whatever suffering he didn't, let's say, translate to be. Then necessarily translate him to conclude that no one has to suffer what he suffered. It translates to conclude that I'll make everyone, no matter how innocent they are, my pain, and my vision for my whatever utopia that I wanted to impose and have. No matter how I achieve it, very ends justify the means. He developed that. And it's not always because it makes him innately evil. That if you read the comic, he didn't start out like that at all. But it shows that there's no guarantee that any form of suffering will somehow baptize them into a great person. Like, that's all I gotta say to that. Just as, like, giving them the perfect environment doesn't baptize them and automatically sanctifies a person into a person of virtue, neither does suffering. And I think we need to hold that so much of our environment, so much of our genes, so much of our field influences so much. We get influenced by so much, get spiritually possessed by so many things, to do all kinds of things for good or for ill, and at the same time, just personally experience suffering and oppression does not automatically end up lead a person to somehow want to be a whole and liberated person any more than gaining a healthy life anymore. And same thing with, like, creating like a thriving environment doesn't always guarantee that they'll somehow see that worth innovating or replicating. They might rebel and do the opposite. That might lead to Darth Vader land. Not thinking that they are going there, but they think that the Darth Vader land for whatever fuck reason. So it doesn't negate the importance of social change, of shifting environment and conditions. It's still worth doing in being of healthy influence and impact It's just that it's not that simple. That's what